What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Midweek Athletes Pod.
Yeah.
First things first, happy holidays, happy new year. Hope you guys got to enjoy that with family and loved ones. And may this 2024 year be iconic. Kobe year, so do it big. Let's go. So yeah, that's all I got to say.
I don't really have much to say other than happy holidays. Hopefully everything went well for everybody. They enjoyed it, got to spend time with family, make memories, and watch some good football, some good sports going on.
Speaking of football, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So, top 4 college football teams played last night.
You sure we got to start here?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and get this over with. It pains me too, but let's get to it. All right, so Michigan and Alabama played in the Rose Bowl. What was your reaction to that?
That Michigan should have won by like at least 2 touchdowns. Because Michigan was the better team. Michigan botched the extra point because they rolled the ball back. They missed the field goal. I don't know what J.J. McCarthy was thinking on the first play of the game where he really should have thrown a pick. Yeah. Then they muffed the punt. Michigan was just a superior team to me because the defense was dominating.
I feel like that game, it really could have gone either way because, there was a muff punt and then Alabama did something crazy on their end. It was like nip and tuck the whole game. Like, there was really nobody that got a big, advantage. And then I wasn't expecting to go to overtime, but,
Did you ever feel like Jalen Milroe was, going to take the game over? Because I didn't.
No, honestly. Honestly, no, I didn't. But I also didn't think that McCarthy was going to be the one to take over the game either. It was really with that running back. To be honest, that was the big I wouldn't say X factor, but that was the big factor for me. If he can get going, then it's really on his shoulders, based on how far he can take Michigan.
Yeah, the Michigan team is led by the run game and the defense, but Roman Wilson made some great catches. Corum was good. J.J. McCarthy really didn't do much outside of one run. Yeah. He really didn't have to do much at the end of that game.
No, he didn't. But as far as what were you expecting whenever it got to overtime?
I was expecting Michigan to win.
You thought so?
Oh yeah.
I had Michigan to win too, but Alabama. First off, for them to even get there with the team that they had, that was a big deal in of its own. Because I wasn't expecting Alabama to even make it. But we talked about it on the other episode when they beat Georgia. Did they deserve to be in it? And we were kind of talking about that. So I wasn't really sold on Alabama. But, they kind of proved me wrong. But
because given what Georgia did, they went 63-3 against Florida State. So did Georgia deserve to be in, given that the 2 teams that went in above them, Texas and Alabama, both lost? Do you think Georgia would have won either one of those games?
No, probably not. No.
You don't think Georgia could have beat Michigan? I do.
Constructed right now, probably, yeah. Yeah. Actually, yeah. Yeah, especially the more that I think about it. But I don't know. I hated the fact that Alabama was in it even in the first place, but I get it. But oh well.
Second game was the heartbreaker.
All right, so Texas and Washington. Jesus Christ, that just makes me so mad. I don't know about you, but I feel like with that Texas game, them damn penalties. Literally every time that there was a positive possession, the penalties would bring it back. We could never get a groove at all.
Was it the penalties or was it the fact that Texas wasn't able to necessarily run the ball really well at the beginning of the game? And Quinn Ewers was not good in the first half. He was 8 of 16 for 97 yards. Michael Penix had already 160.
Michael Penix had 200 by halftime.
He was killing. He was
lighting
cooking.
Lighting up UT like it was nobody's business. But also what sucked was our defense in those corners.
But we knew the corners weren't that good.
Yes, that's true, but I wasn't expecting that. I was not expecting that.
I was.
I knew Washington was good, but I didn't know they were they made UT look bad.
Washington got an NFL quarterback.
Absolutely.
Probably 2, maybe 3 NFL wide receivers. They have a very good offensive line. Like, they were going to move the ball on Texas. Texas just need to get one stop.
The thing was, like, Texas, obviously playing in the Big 12, I guess, which is, would you say, like, the second biggest conference in football?
No. It's probably, like,
third?
It's probably fourth.
So SEC,
Big Ten, Pac-12 this year, and then probably the Big Ten because ACC isn't very good.
Big 12. Okay. Well, top 5 or obviously Power 5
for sure.
You would think their defense would be able to shut down somebody.
When is the last time Texas had a really good defense? When they had like Aaron Ross and Earl Thomas and guys like that, and Brian Arakpo, guys like that. Texas hadn't really had a great defense in a long time.
Yeah, but I guess the expectations on this defense, like when you had Sweat on the line, and then the
Murphy
white boy,
Jr.
and Murphy Jr. Like you had these high profile guys, and it's like, okay, like what are we putting out there? Because again, the expectation was like Texas is going to be driven on their defense, and Washington proved, we're a little ways behind, especially like it got ugly.
But you see how the people you named are linemen. Yeah. Where is the corners? Texas used to always have corners and safeties. Now we haven't had really corners and safeties like that for a long time.
It was so bad, and I know you watched it just as much as I did. Penix threw the ball. Ball's coming over here. The corner's looking this way. The ball's over here. I stood up. I was like, what the fuck are you looking at? And Sam was like, it's okay. I'm like, listen, this is the one game you just have to let me just be passionate. Like, you just – Evan, like, it just – that pissed me off Evan, so bad.
The problem that you're having in this game is expectations versus reality. The expectation was that they would play better. The reality is Texas just doesn't have a very good secondary, which is why they lost that game, and why next year they run into an even bigger problem because they're going to be in the SEC.
So had
how
Washington
are they cover
beating
these
Texas?
Receivers? I had Texas winning that because I thought Texas would be able to own the line of scrimmage, but they weren't able to do that. The defensive line, when they did get pressure, they couldn't get to Penix.
Oh my God! Like honestly, you couldn't even touch him. Texas could not even put a hand on him because the moment he felt pressure, gone
every time.
Gone.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Nothing,
and we couldn't
nothing you could do.
They were able to run the ball a little bit, so we weren't able to just completely blitz and go after Penix. Washington was just a better team that night.
I mean, yeah, for sure. So my question to you is, do you think that Washington exposed Texas in a way?
Only if you don't consistently watch Texas football. Okay. Because if you consistently watch the team, everybody knew that the weak point on the entire team is the secondary.
Right.
So the fact that got exposed against one of the best offenses in the country is not really shocking.
True.
What's more shocking is that there wasn't a better game plan to make sure that the secondary didn't get exposed.
And I'm not the biggest football person, but I feel like, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, I feel like when in that first half, Texas played a lot of man coverage.
They did.
So how come you don't switch that if you're the defensive coordinator or the head coach? Like, you see that Penix is a lights out passer. Like he's as accurate as if I've seen him, and I've only watched them maybe a couple games throughout the year because they're not really on, or they were, but they weren't on TV a lot this year. So it's like, okay, like how come that adjustment wasn't made to, okay, let's do this coverage, let's do this scheme and stuff like that, kind of throw them off a little bit, because I felt like in the second half they stayed with man, and he just deep ball, like every single time they got behind our corners and safeties, and I'm just like,
I mean,
damn.
Sometimes, okay, you coach and you coach basketball, right? Sometimes you can have a game plan and you could call a zone defense in basketball. You call a zone defense. But somehow, some way, the offense figures out a way to get your defenders one-on-one against their players. It's the same concept in football. You can run a zone, but eventually zone becomes man. So either way it goes, they were able to just exploit the matchup. It was just bad matchup entirely. If Texas played Alabama or Michigan, I would have felt better with them winning that game. I went with Texas because I believe in them, but honestly, it was just a bad matchup for them. Anybody else they would have been okay with.
And the crazy thing is, I mean, we talk about all that Texas did wrong, They only lost the game by 6.
Yeah, because Washington almost choked the game away.
Because Washington got too cute. They started trying to do all those flea flickers and stuff, and Texas actually defended that the right way, like perfectly. Right. So, I mean, I'm surprised that they won by 6, especially like in the fourth quarter when they. I didn't see all of it, but I did see that their running back had went down with a foot injury.
Yeah, he got hurt.
And so that gave Texas the ball back. I think that was on 4th down.
Because it stopped the clock.
Okay. But the thing is, like, Texas, I think they were at Washington's, 25 when that happened? Mm-hmm. And they marched it all the way down to, like, the 7. Mm-hmm. It doesn't get no crazier than that. I really thought Texas was about to pull that out, especially the touchdown catch that Mitchell had before. Oh, my God. That was nasty.
But, Evan.
That was nasty.
But, again, Evan, this comes to the point of what I'm saying. You expected something. But the reality of the situation is that secondary is not good enough to win a national championship.
I just didn't. I mean,
but again, help is on the way. Signed the number 1 safety in the country in this recruiting class. Help's on the way.
Like I said, I knew Washington was good. I knew Penix obviously is a Heisman runner-up. I knew that. But watching them like from first quarter to the end of the fourth, I'm like, damn, like they actually really cold.
Penix is like that.
Penix was 29 of 38, 430.
Yeah, he's like that. He's been doing that all year.
They had 2 receivers over 100 yards, over 120 yards actually. Mm-hmm. And the highest receiver we had was 75 yards, and that wasn't even Mitchell. Mitchell was 4 for 32.
Right.
I feel like in games like that, you got to get Mitchell and Worthy the ball.
I mean, but that's
and Whittington had 70, and Sanders, our tight end, had 75.
Right.
We just couldn't get nothing moving. That's just
look at those numbers, and you tell me who was the better team.
No, I'm not saying I'm not trying to discredit Washington or anything like that, because obviously Washington is that team.
They are.
I didn't think they were that cold.
Oh yeah, Washington's had the hardest path there all year, so they're battle tested. They're good. They're a good team, and Penix is the real deal, man.
So I guess that leads into this championship game next Monday. Right here in Houston, Texas, NRG. Who you got, Michigan, Lord have mercy, Michigan or Washington?
Michigan. This is a much better matchup for Michigan because
it's a much better matchup. Like how, defensively for them or no? Or offensively?
Defensively, they'll be all right because the defense has been dominant all year, and they have first-round talent in their secondary. Will Johnson's going to be a first-round pick. Okay. But the better part of it –
oh, sorry.
This man here – I guess we want to get right to the basketball takes, don't we?
No, that was an accident.
Well, let me speed this up.
My bad.
Michigan is better offensively because Washington really can't stop the run like that. And unlike Texas – because Sarkisian wants to throw the ball around, Michigan's gonna run it some more. I think Michigan will just control the game from the line of scrimmage.
I think I'm gonna still go Washington because I think Penix. I mean, to throw for 430, that's insane. And
Penix made you a believer.
I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Michigan has been to the college football playoffs. I guess for me is like because obviously Washington will probably be the underdog going into this.
They are.
I just want to go for the underdog.
Okay.
Just want to go for them. I just want to see somebody do it. So I think Washington would do it, and they're both undefeated, right?
Yes. The last 2 undefeated teams standing.
Now, if they're running back, depending on his injury, because obviously I heard he's a big or saw that he's a big focal point.
He's a big part of the offense. Yeah.
If he can't play, then I'll probably say Michigan. But if he can play, even not at 100%, I think I'm gonna still go Washington.
Michigan is going to win by 2 touchdowns, regardless of what.
By 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns. They'll be able to get to Penix. They're gonna cause some turnovers, and I just think they'll just run the ball and chew the clock. It won't be pretty, but Michigan will win by 2 touchdowns.
What's your score prediction?
30, 34, 17.
I'll say 28, 25 Washington.
Ooh, a nail biter because Michigan's special team is terrible.
28-25 Washington. I think I'll go with that. But yeah, Y'all let us know what y'all think. Who's going to win, Michigan or Washington?
You know, Evan, speaking of the end of something, as in the college football playoff ending next week, you know what's about to end and what we're about to bring back up from the past?
Oh, shit.
My Philadelphia Eagles take about them losing in the first round of the playoffs. Remember, everybody, I said it here first.
Oh, my God.
Please, place your bets on your parlays. Put it in there. Eagles lose in the first round. I will get y'all paid. We have been on a streak. I told y'all the Browns.
That, huh?
I'm still rocking with that. The Browns have been performing well. My man Joe Flacco throwing that thing around. The defense balling. Just remember, Eagles lose in the first round. But speaking of that, since we can wait for another 2 weeks to go by for me to be ultimately right on that. In the NFL playoffs, the teams that have clinched already in the AFC is Baltimore, Kansas City, and Cleveland.
In Miami.
And in Miami have all clinched already.
Have all clinched. Mm-hmm.
But Sunday night, Buffalo plays at Miami. And this is the scenario.
And Texans play at Indianapolis.
On Saturday night. That Texans and Colts game is a winning end game. Whoever wins that game is in the playoffs.
Ooh,
it's
boy.
that simple. But for the Bills and the Dolphins game, there's a way that if Buffalo loses, they don't make the playoffs. But if they win, they'll be the 2 seed.
Really?
And Miami will fall down. So my question to you in that scenario is,
because I'm looking at it right now.
If Buffalo does not make the playoffs after all of this during this season, is it time to blow it up in Buffalo?
I would say so. I would actually say so. And here's my thing. First off, I'm going to address this now. In my fantasy leagues, I got 4th in one and 5th in the other. I'm going to go ahead and congratulate my man because he got first in our league, so I'm going to go ahead and congratulate him. But I say that to say this. I had Stephon Diggs on my team.
The underdogs.
And the first 5 or 6 games, he was over 100 yards. After that, so from I think like game 6 to like game 6 down or up to now, under 100 yards.
Correct. So,
do you think it's time to get rid of Diggs for something else, or do you still think that Diggs is that person?
Diggs is still that guy. It's just the fact that the offense needs to change. They need another player on the opposite side of Diggs, not to get rid of Diggs. And most importantly, they need to continue to run the ball. Because James Cook is really like that if you give him the ball.
Yeah.
He's like
Appreciate that trade, by the way.
It's still, and again, with the interruptions today.
It's the interruptions. Sorry.
I don't understand what's going on. But yeah, like, I think Buffalo just needs to continue to do what they do. Get another wide receiver on the side of Diggs. Get rid of Sean McDermott. And just continue to rock out from there.
So I mean, do you think that Gabe Davis is that answer on the other side of Diggs?
No.
So
hell no.
Who do you think that Buffalo should get in order to really compete in the AFC?
Another coach.
Okay.
Another coach, because Sean McDermott, love you, dude, but I think you might have ran your course. And you need another voice in there, and they need another playmaker. They just need somebody else on the side. Yeah. You could trade for a Mike Williams from the Chargers. Mike Williams will be on the market. He's coming off of an injury. The Chargers need to get rid of some cap space anyway, so send Mike Williams to Buffalo to pair him on the other side of Diggs.
I like that.
It'll be just fine.
So about Jacksonville at 4.
Yeah.
Did you mention them or
no? Now Jacksonville's in an interesting situation
because they haven't clinched because they're 9-7. Indianapolis is 9-7. Texans are 9-7, and Pittsburgh is still in it at 9-7.
Pittsburgh, okay. This is the thing for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has a kind of a crazy path. Pittsburgh wins and Buffalo loses, right? That's the easiest way for them to get in. Or Pittsburgh wins, Jacksonville loses or ties. Or here's another scenario. Pittsburgh wins, Houston, Indy tie. Pittsburgh tie, Jacksonville loss, Houston Indy doesn't end in a tie.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so many complex ways for them to get in. The easiest way for them to get in is for them to win and Buffalo to lose at Miami.
Who would you want your top 6 to be in the AFC before we go to the NFC?
Who would I want?
Yeah. Who would you like to see? And then I'll answer.
I like it the way that it would currently set up right now.
So currently as is right now.
Yeah. I think that Indy won't be as fun to watch in the playoffs as Houston because of CJ Stroud, but I think that Indy is a slightly better team than the Texans. I do think the Texans will win Saturday night because CJ Stroud is just better than Minshew, but I do think Indy top to bottom is a better team.
Is Trevor Lawrence still hurt, or is he supposed to be back?
He was still hurt. He's probably going to play in a game like this, but they play Tennessee, and Tennessee, man, they
god awful.
They packed it up.
It's god awful. Yeah.
So,
I mean, I would like to see Houston in it, but if not, then I mean, I agree. I like it as the top six as it is now. So
I agree. Oh, there's also something else I needed to talk about on here while we're on the NFL playoffs. My Atlanta Falcons. There's not going to be a rant today, guys. I promise y'all it's not going to be a rant. I did not come prepared to rant today because, like I said, I'm no longer going to address that individual directly. I'm just going to talk to the organization. Guys, look out. It's very simple for us. We win this game on Sunday and Tampa Bay loses. We win the division. We get a home playoff game. We'll probably be ended up playing Philadelphia in the first round, which would make my prediction just really, that would drive me nuts. But, yeah, guys, listen to me. Don't win, okay? Don't win on Sunday. There's no reason for us to beat the Saints, okay? Let's just wrap this season up, okay? You seen your future franchise quarterback last week. His name is Justin Fields. When you went up to Chicago and they beat our ass and sent us back to Atlanta, that needs to be your future quarterback, okay? Trade for him, lose this game, get a good draft pick, right? Draft us a pass rusher, okay? No corners, no wide receivers, no running backs. A pass rusher, a big boy, somebody to get to the quarterback. And then we go from there and get rid of that individual as well, Mr. Blank. We both know who I'm talking about. It's time. The people are ready. We are all ready. He must go, okay? It's going to be freeing after you let him go, all right? Thank you. Thank you, Arthur. Thank you, Arthur, and have a great evening. I appreciate you, boss.
Not Mr. Blank, but so before we move on to the NFC, Mr. Willie, shout out to Mr. Willie, who's in the live. He said Texans are going to win. So he thinks Texans are going to be in the playoffs too.
Oh, man.
So, but shout out to Mr. Willard.
Shout out to Mr. Willard, though.
Shout out to
Definitely
Mr.
shout
Willard.
out to Mr. Willard.
All right, so NFC, top 6, 49ers, Dallas, Detroit, Buccaneers, Philly, and the Rams. What you got?
Exactly
how it is.
I don't want to see Seattle in the playoffs. I don't. They're not very interesting.
New Orleans plays who Sunday?
Atlanta.
If New Orleans wins, are they in?
No.
Yes, no.
Not just win and in. Definitely, they need to win.
They need
Tampa Bay to lose.
Okay. And who does Tampa play? Oh shit.
The Panthers.
Oh, no. So, never mind. Saints, we'll do it next year. Never mind.
Yeah.
Just
that's why I said there's no point in the Falcons winning. You know what? Both teams just go out there, say we're not going to play, so it ends in a tie. We'll just do it like that.
That's fine. That's fine. All right. So, I wasn't expecting Detroit to be 11-5, which, I mean, credit to them. I wasn't expecting Philly to be that low. So
I was.
I guess my question to you is, so who plays who? So obviously 49ers get a bye.
Right.
And then 2 plays.
7.
7?
Yes.
Okay. So 2 plays. Oh, well, shit.
The way it's currently set up, Dallas would play Green Bay in Dallas.
Okay.
Detroit would get the Rams in Detroit, which would be dope because Matthew Stafford goes back to Detroit. And then you would get Philly going to Tampa Bay to play the Buccaneers.
Okay. You like all those matchups?
I do. I think they'll all be really good games. I think the best game out that group would definitely be Detroit and the Rams. That would be a shootout.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like those matchups too, and honestly, I wouldn't change a thing. I mean, I would like to see the Saints in it, but that's obviously not going to happen.
Evan, we're going to have that conversation in the offseason. Y'all will see the Saints are in cap hell. There's no way around it.
Yeah, they are.
In cap hell.
They are. So, before we move on, Super Bowl predictions. Who you got ahead of the playoffs?
I told y'all the Dallas Cowboys are going to win the NFC and be in the Super Bowl. All right? And on the other side, I told y'all this in the group message before the season started that I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens to come out of the AFC. So right now I'm sitting pretty. Dallas and Baltimore meeting in Vegas for the championship.
I'ma say, should I be cliche and just do the top ones, or should I be controversial here?
You should say what's on your heart. Free yourself.
Damn it, I really hate that I'm about to really say this.
Speak the truth. Shame the devil.
God damn it. Okay. I also have Dallas.
What?
I'm a choose Dallas to win.
We
the
did
NFC.
it. We did it.
Shout out to all my Dallas fans. Shout out to Garrett Kennedy, all my people in Lubbock, all the Dallas fans. Shout out to y'all.
Yes, sir.
I'm a ride with Dallas to win the NFC.
All right, here we go.
In the AFC,
mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna actually still go with the Chiefs. I think so.
Evan.
I think.
Evan.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I think. I don't know, but
the Chiefs.
I think so.
The Chiefs.
I think so. Because you said 1 plays 7, right?
2 plays.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2 plays 7. So Miami goes to Indianapolis. Kansas City goes to
Kansas City. We get Buffalo. In Kansas City.
In Kansas City.
But given the way that's going to be, say Buffalo wins, Buffalo will be the 2 seed. So really, it would be Kansas City getting Miami.
Okay. I mean, I already said it, so I think I'm going to stick with it.
You're a brave soldier, my man.
Dallas and Kansas City. Dallas and Kansas City. So, again, shout out to all the Dallas people. Please don't let me down. Please. He
just keeps sleeping on the guy, and the guy's name is Lamar Jackson. The most underappreciated quarterback in the game. He does everything for his team. Gonna win league MVP.
Yeah.
Like 2-time. Gonna be a 2-time league MVP.
I just have a weird feeling that they're gonna lose. I just have that feeling. I don't want them to, but I just have a feeling that they're gonna lose.
Wow.
I just have that.
I can't be mad at you, but given what they've done in the past.
I just have a.
But I just believe this is their year. Kansas City's not very good. The Chargers didn't make the playoffs. Jacksonville is injured. It just seems like it's their yeir. If they're gonna do it, it's gonna be this year.
Yeah, I was gonna say if they're gonna do it, it has to be this year. If not, I don't know when they're gonna come back.
Me either.
So, but speaking of underrated,
we spent time talking about how Lamar is underrated just now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it made me think of the most underrated players in the NBA. Okay. And I found a list we can kind of quickly go over.
Let's do it.
Just to see where it stands, even though I don't fully agree with all of these, but I do agree with some of them. So I'll start from the bottom. They took it all the way to 14. I think I'll start at 10.
Okay.
I don't want to do 14. I'll start at 10. Number 10 is Alec Burke from Detroit Pistons.
He's underrated, but he's one of those guys that's been like consistent throughout his whole career. Like no matter where he's gone, he's been that kind of like scores mentality, whether it's off the bench, starter, whatever. Like he's a good bucket coming off the bench. So yeah, I would say he's an underrated player.
He's been very consistent looking at his numbers throughout his career. He's played all over the place. I remember him playing with the Knicks. Mm-hmm. I remember him playing with Utah.
Yep. He played with Utah.
I definitely remember him. But the thing for me, can we really consider anybody underrated that plays for the Pistons? As bad as that team is. Like, there's not very many redeeming qualities about the Pistons.
Right now, no. I mean, because Pistons are 3-30. Like, it's not a good look. But I mean, if we pull up his numbers right now with the Pistons, I mean, he's averaging
11.7, 4.9 rebounds, 3 assists.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I mean, he is, but right now at that stage, no, he's not.
You know they have at number 9?
Who?
Desmond Bane.
Not T-Rex.
18 points a game, 4 rebounds, shooting 43% from 3. I keep saying this about Desmond Bane. He's underrated.
For that, yeah.
Especially now that Ja's back.
He is.
He's in his role.
I'm not the biggest fan of him, but for what he does or what he did with like 25 games without Ja, I'll give it to him.
Do you think he could be a more consistent Chris Middleton?
I would think so.
Because I think that's his role in this team.
Ja
is the Giannis and he's the Chris Middleton for right now until they go make another move.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see them making a move anytime soon. But like I said, I mean, based on what he did without Ja, to be able to average 25, be consistent, and I think he damn near played all those games except for one.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't get no better than that, especially for them. I mean, obviously it didn't result in winning because you really can't you can't ask him to be that guy. But for what he does for the Memphis Grizzlies, yes, he's underrated.
Okay. Well,
that's my only compliment to you, Desmond Bane.
He's a hater, Desmond. I believe you. I had you in my top 10 shooting guards list. Evan did not remember that.
I did not.
That Jalen Green roller coaster. Don't worry. We'll revisit that very shortly.
We can talk about that later. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can talk
you
about
talk about that?
Okay. We can talk about it later. I actually got some stuff I need to say to Jalen.
Oh, about time.
I need to talk to Jalen. I need to talk to him big time. Because it's making me look bad. But continue.
Everybody, we'll hurry up and get through this list, and I promise you, Evan will have the whole end of this to himself. All right? I will go get a refill on my drink. Grayson Allen from the Phoenix Suns.
Actually, yes. Grayson Allen has been shooting the three ball really well.
Yes.
Without, like, games that, Bradley Beal's not there, Kevin Durant's not there, obviously Booker's not there. I feel like he is very consistent in his approach to the game. And like I said, he's really been shooting the ball very, very well. The game I went to on the 27th when they came here to Houston, I think he ended up with like 15 and like only missed like 2 or 3 shots. So, I mean, he's a very underrated player.
He's been their best free agent signing.
I would think so.
For sure.
I would think so. Because Bradley Beal got traded there. So, yeah, he's wasn't
and Bradley Beal never plays.
He never plays. So, yeah, you're right.
Phoenix stuck with that contract, and they have no depth, and they have no picks. Phoenix is in a bad spot, man.
It's
bad. Number 7, Malcolm Brogdon. Malcolm Brogdon is forever going to be on these lists. I'm sorry, he's just forever going to be one of those guys that's just looked down upon for whatever reason. So I'm not shocked that he's at 7 on here, but I mean, he's just one of those guys.
I mean, I agree with you. I'm not shocked, but Malcolm Brogdon is kind of. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it to the point that I made with R.J. Barrett. He's kind of like that model citizen. Like there's not a lot that comes with Malcolm Brogdon.
So, he doesn't have the superstar.
Yeah,
appeal,
he doesn't.
Star appeal.
Yeah, he doesn't really have that appeal to him. I mean, obviously he's not really a scorer, not much. I mean, because where's he averaging right now?
6 assists.
6 assists. How many
19 points. 5 rebounds. But you got to think he's playing in Portland.
Yeah, he's playing in Portland, which doesn't have a superstar.
No. And Scoot's starting to pick it up now. So at a certain point, Malcolm's going to go to the bench.
Again, I mean, I feel like a lot of these have to do with a per team basis. So I mean, if he's averaging 19 with the Trailblazers, considering the Trailblazers aren't going to make the playoffs, like obviously they're in a rebuild, then I guess so. But again, he's not really that big of a underrated appeal to me. But I see it whenever he's with Portland. I get that.
Okay, I agree. The next two, because I think these should be flipped. 6 is Tobias Harris. 5 is Jared Allen. I think Tobias Harris should be 5.
Switch it, yeah. But my thing with Tobias Harris is, I think he is a good regular season player.
Right.
Come playoffs.
Well, okay.
It's a totally different story.
Wait a minute. We'll come back to Tobias Harris because that leads to another question I have for you on a different topic. So we'll come back to Harris and Jared Allen. Keep those thoughts though, because that triggered something else for me to think of. Number 4, DeJounte Murray.
They have him as underrated?
They have him as underrated. If you look at his numbers, he's averaging 21, 9, 8, and 2 steals a night.
That's underrated?
Man, DeJounte.
No way.
At this point in his career, he has been underrated. Where he's at now, given his situation.
He was underrated when he was on the Spurs.
He was.
Now, with the averages of that?
Yes.
No way.
Who talks about him? The person you talk about in the Hawks is Trae Young.
I get that. But for him to be underrated, no. I don't know. Okay. No.
I will beg. I disagree. I think DeJounte is very underrated right now with what he's doing.
I mean, I think he could probably be up there because 28 or 21, 9, and 8, that's damn near all-star numbers.
That is all-star numbers.
So it's like, let's be real here.
He's almost averaging a triple-double.
Yeah.
With Trae Young as his backcourt mate.
He is not underrated. I think he is right where he needs to be right now.
Which is like the 6th best guard in the East. Well, yeah, 5th.
That's fine. That's fine. That's about right.
Okay. The guy that's going to make the all-star team over him is at number 3, which is Jalen Brunson.
Underrated, yes.
Very much so.
Very, yeah. Very, very.
Because Julius
been playing. He been balling.
Julius
Randle.
Hey, man.
Been cooking.
I just want you to know.
Cooking.
Right here, you see that they getting rid of folks. I see that your points started going up as soon as RJ went out the door.
As soon as RJ went out the door, that man said, I'm shooting the ball more.
Business moves.
As you should, Julius Randle. I've said that.
I'm with you, Julius. Think long term, King. Think long term.
Who else we got?
Number 2, Bobby Portis. And I'm with it. I'm with it.
As far as underrated, though, I would say so because for that Bucks team, I think he fits them perfectly. He's that 3-and-D guy. He's kind of like the enforcer a little bit, like to an extent. So I think what he does for Milwaukee, yes, but I feel like if you put him on any other team, probably not.
I mean,
because before he got to Milwaukee, he was with Chicago. He was with Washington. He was with New York.
Remember when he punched Mirotic in the face?
Yeah.
That's what kind of set him back a little bit.
And then damn near took off Caldwell Pope's head when he was with the Knicks.
Yeah.
So again, I feel like he found the right fit for him, and good job for him. But I mean, he's proven that if he's on any other team, it might not.
I think if he went to another situation right now, he'd be pretty good. I think he'd still be able to do what he does right now. Because there's a bunch of other teams that can use a Bobby Portis.
Oh no, yeah. I agree. I just don't. I mean, I don't know. Just kind of based on his past, it never really worked out because he was a lottery pick.
He was
coming out of Arkansas, and he really hasn't really lived up to that up until Milwaukee.
He didn't live up to his potential until he got to Milwaukee, but I think now since he's been in Milwaukee, he's been able to mature and grow. I think another destination
that's fair.
He'd be pretty good at. I would love to see him in Oklahoma City as a potential.
Man, that actually would be a good pickup.
Because they talk about Lauri Markkanen, and I think Bobby Portis could get
Lauri Markkanen would not be a bad pickup either, though.
No, they wouldn't. It wouldn't at all. Last one, number 1, Seth Curry.
No.
No to Seth?
No.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't think Seth is number 1. If I'm being honest about who should be number 1 based off of expectations, it's probably Jalen Brunson.
I would agree with that. It's Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
But, I mean, as far as Seth, I mean, he goes, like, every team that he's gone to, he's done the same thing. Well, obviously, he's a shooter.
He's a shooter.
I mean, outside of that, like what is it?
That's it, but that's very valuable. That's a very valuable
It is,
trait.
especially in today's NBA. But I mean, as far as underrated, I mean, you kind of said it yourself about somebody else. Like they don't really talk about him. I feel like
about Murray. That was my point about Murray.
I feel like when it comes to being underrated, people have to be like, hey, like you got to watch this kid. Like you got to watch this kid. I don't feel like they say that about Murray because he's at the spot where he's at right now. Like I think he is perfect where he is right now.
Being number 2 to Trae Young.
Yes.
I think Murray could go somewhere else and be a lead guard for a championship contender.
I think so too, but based on the team that he's on right now, I think him and Trae Young are perfect together. So I don't really classify Murray as underrated.
Okay, because remember I said come back to Tobias Harris.
Okay, let's get to it.
Because now it makes me wonder with Tobias Harris being where he's at on this ranking and where we generally think he's at.
Mm-hmm.
At this point with the Sixers doing as well as they're doing, why don't the Sixers pull the trigger and get rid of Tobias Harris and bring in an not OG Anunoby, a Pascal Siakam?
See, I thought they should have traded Tobias Harris like 2 years ago, in my opinion.
They should have, but they didn't.
They should have, and they had the opportunity to do it. I don't remember for who, but they had the opportunity to do it. Or actually, I think he was a free agent.
It was him and Jimmy. It was him, or was it? Remember him or Jimmy?
Yeah,
Butler?
Yeah, it was him and Jimmy Butler. Yeah,
right. And they picked Tobias Harris.
They picked Tobias Harris.
Yeah,
that was stupid.
It was stupid.
That was really stupid. So I like Tobias Harris's game, but just again, I think he's a regular season player.
Mm-hmm.
You flip it with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler
is a postseason
player.
Right.
So which one do you want to value more here?
With the way Embiid is playing, averaging like almost 40 a night in the month of December, it would clearly be Jimmy Butler.
It would clearly be Jimmy.
But would you bring in a Pascal Siakam for a Tobias Harris?
1,000% yes. 1,000.
So does that mean that? Because if you're Toronto at this point, you've already gotten rid of OG Anunoby. Mm-hmm. So Pascal has to be next.
Has to, absolutely.
Because you're going to keep Scotty Barnes.
Mm-hmm.
Scotty Barnes is staying, and you're going completely young, right? So that will leave, right now it's Siakam and Porter left.
Yeah, which, I mean, I think they'll keep Podol.
Right.
Yeah.
Just till the contract runs out.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're Toronto, you trade Pascal to the 76ers.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make the 76ers a more legitimate championship contender in the East?
I would think so because, I mean, Pascal has that championship experience. So to pair him with Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, I mean, I think that's a real solid big three in Philly. So, I mean, I think they can compete for a championship. Now, will they win it? I mean, that's to be argued at a later point if they do end up making that trade. But I think that would definitely put them in the conversation.
Because getting rid of Tobias takes away some shooting that Siakam doesn't provide.
So what if Philly were, or not Philly, what if Toronto were to send Siakam and Dennis Schroeder for Tobias Harris and somebody else? Then
I would do that. I would do that.
Then you add that shooting
right
that you're kind of missing
with Schroeder.
Yeah, with Schroeder.
And you can bring him off the bench instead of starting him next to Maxey. You bring him off the bench.
Absolutely.
I agree with that. I mean, I don't really see anything wrong with that package whatsoever.
I don't either. Now, I mean, I wouldn't do both of them for Tobias Harris. I don't think he's no, hell no. But I would do those two for Tobias and I'm trying to think who's on their bench.
Melton.
Yeah, probably Melton. Why not?
He's a backup guard anyway.
You're not really losing anything.
No.
So
you keep Nas Reed because you need a backup.
Yeah.
And then that leads me to Zach LaVine.
I think Zach LaVine would be perfect in Sacramento. I think he would be perfect in Sacramento.
So you would be trading Harrison Barnes and Malik Monk?
Mm-hmm. So hear me out. Zach LaVine goes to Sacramento. You get rid of Harrison Barnes. You get rid of Malik Monk. Mm-hmm. You still got Fox, Sabonis.
Mitchell comes off
the bench, and then you add LaVine with that mix.
Mm-hmm.
That's deadly.
It is.
That is deadly. The only thing that worries me now is basically that bench, because obviously Murray starts.
Keegan Murray.
Keegan Murray. So, I mean, it's kind of a give or take. But I mean, I think in the long run, I think he would be perfect in Sacramento.
But who plays defense on that team? Who plays defense
Mitchell.
on that? Nah.
Davion Mitchell plays defense.
But he comes off the bench.
Yeah.
So, because that was their
Does
problem
Fox not
last
play
year
defense?
against Golden State, is they couldn't get any stops. They couldn't get stops. Steph was cooking them.
I mean, of course. But, I mean, again, that's Steph Curry we're talking about here.
But I've seen Steph be stopped by other teams. It's not that he's unstoppable. You know what I'm saying?
Just can you contain him?
Right.
Right. I got you.
You can't let him go for 50 in the closeout game.
That's true.
Not at home.
Who do you think Zach would be good with to finish this out?
I said this beforehand. I think it's Dallas Mavericks.
So why Dallas?
Because Dallas needs another wing threat. Because Dallas is very, very guard heavy with Kyrie, Tim Hardaway, Luka. They need somebody on the wing. Just somebody that could take the stress off of Luka and Kyrie.
So what would your package be for Dallas to get Zach?
You would have to give up Hardaway Jr.
You would have to, because I'm looking at it right now. You would have to give up Hardaway Jr.
You would have to give up Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have to be some picks and somebody else to just make the money work. But you would definitely have to give up your first round picks. You might have to get rid of Seth Curry as well.
I was just about to throw that name out there. You,
Seth, Tim Hardaway, and Hardy, and a first round pick, unprotected first round pick.
That's not bad at all.
Because you need it. Because you need it to compete in the West. Because I like Derek Lively. He can play. I think he's a good center. But they need some other wing scoring.
So with that trade, as we get ready to finish this out, would you add something else to that LaVine trade if you were Chicago? Like, would you put in like a Kobe White?
I wouldn't get rid of Kobe White because we need to do a youth movement anyway.
Okay.
If I'm being perfectly honest, if I'm Chicago, I'm trying to get rid of a lot of my team and a lot of my cap. So if I could get rid of Caruso as well as LaVine, then yes, I would do that. Because DeRozan, I can trade all on his own and get something back. And then Vucevic, I can trade him or I can keep Vucevic. I'm going to keep one out of the three of y'all, but two of y'all are going to go.
I got you.
So I would put Caruso with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Speaking of people that could potentially be on the trade block, I'm gonna let you go ahead and have your ISO with one Mr. Jalen Green. Jalen, you know I love you. You know I was here for you. I'm the one that said you should be on this top 10 list, but I haven't been as hard on you as Evan is about to be. So I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy.
Now mine is not gonna be as lengthy as Mr. Arthur Smith in Atlanta.
It was deserved.
But Jalen, matter of fact, which camera you want me to look at? Let me just I'm right here. Jalen Green. I want you to know, since I made this statement of you being a top 10 shooting guard, first off, that reel got 21,000 views. A lot of people were bashing me, rightfully so, and a lot of people were with me, rightfully so. But since then, you have made me look bad, sir. You've kind of made me look bad, and I'm a Houston Rockets fan. I love your game. I love what you're doing for the city, but dude, you got to get out of Udoka's doghouse, man. You have to get out of the doghouse. You got to be consistent. We got to make this work because you are a top 10 shooting guard. I believe that. But the way you've been playing is if you were a top 30, and that is not the case, sir. Work on your game, be consistent, and let's prove these doubters wrong. So, see, I'm not going to be hard on you like I know somebody else was with somebody else. But just you're making me look bad right now. You got people in the comments just saying I shouldn't talk basketball, and that kind of hurts my feelings right now. Come on, man. Don't make me look bad. That's the only time I'm going to address you, my dog. Just don't make me look bad, please.
Well, you know, Evan won't say this, but I will.
That's fine.
In Jalen Green's last 10 games, Jalen is shooting 40% from the field, right? That's not good whatsoever. Jalen is averaging 16 points.
Not good.
4 rebounds.
Not good.
3 assists. 0.8 steals. 0.4 blocks.
And that is literally since I made that comment.
Yes.
That's crazy.
On average, he's making 5 field goals a game while attempting 13.
Not good.
He is also shooting 40% from 3.
Not good.
He had a 16% shooting game, 33, 36, 35, 25, 28, 40, and he picked it up the last 2 games with 63% and 50% from the field.
Well, moral of this conversation, Jalen, you belong. You just got to be consistent. That's it. So that's a wrap for episode 6 of the Midweek Athletes Pod. We appreciate y'all. Continue to like, share, and subscribe. Also, check us out on Spotify or Apple Pod, wherever you get your podcast from. I'm Evan.
This is Wes.
And we out. Let's go.